Hey folks, welcome back to another video. Today we're looking at question 811, subdomain visit count. The way we'll be approaching this problem is by splitting the string that is given to us in the string array based on like the spaces and the full stops, and then using each of the split strings and add them to a hash map and keep account of every occurrences of it. It's a pretty simple problem if we break it up into two different parts, which is splitting and then storing. So let's get started. The first thing that we need to do is actually build up the skeleton as in like the foundation that we would need for the solution. And we need two things, right? The first thing is the list of string that needs to be returned. And let's call it results and new array list. That's awesome. The next thing that we need is a hash map. So hash map will keep a track of all of the subdomains and the number of times we see them. So it'll be string and integer. Let's call it map, new hash map. Awesome. So next up, we need to iterate through all of the strings in the CP domain string array. So let's call it string domain in CP domains. Okay, so once we have that, what do we need to do? We need to split it up. And how do we split it up? So string, let's say split is equal to domain dot split. So we need to separate it by spaces. So the way we do that is by using this notation \\s. And once we have that, so it'll have two components, right? So the two components will be like the number, and it will actually have the domain itself. The next thing that we need to do is initialize the count. So let's say integer count would be equal to integer.parse int split of 0. So what are we doing here? We're basically taking like the first string that's stored in the split array and converting that to an integer because it is an int. And the next thing that we need to do is actually split the subdomain itself into various strings. So it will be an array. Sub would be equal to split of 1 actually, because the second part of the array will have the entire domain, and then we need to split that by full stop. And since it's a special character, we need to escape it. So that's the reason why we have backslash. I think it's actually this way. Okay, it's one of those two things, but we'll see when we run it. Okay, once we have that set up, we need to get the length and actually add that. So let's call it sub.length. Awesome. And then we have a for loop. So for in I equals length minus 1, length is greater than or equal to 0, and you keep decrementing I. And we have a substring actually, and the substring will keep adding like the subdomains to that. So let's initialize the string builder first. String builder SB equals new string builder. Awesome. All right, once we have that set up, what we need to do is add the given string at an index to the substring, but we also need to add those dots, right? So, and we need to add those dots only if it's not the last one. So if I equals length of I minus 1, if it is not equal to I minus 1, what we need to do is we need to append, so not append, actually insert it in the first part. So insert, since we're going backwards, so insert at 0, which is the first index, and then we do a dot. Awesome. And then once we have that, we just do sb.append, insert actually, since we're going backwards, insert at index 0, and then we do sub of sub of I, Y, and not index inside. Okay. So this will actually give us the substring that we care about. And once we have that, we need to add that to the hash map. So map.put sb.toString, right? And we have that subdomain, and then we need to add the number. So it'll be map.getterDefault. So it could have been added previously, as in case, like, let's say, for example, if we have .com here, I'm sure, like, if you've iterated through a couple of times, .com has already been added. So you get map getter default, we get sb.toString, we get 0, and then we add the count itself. Awesome. So what are we doing here? What we're doing here is we have already split the domains that are given to us into different pieces, and with every single piece, we are incrementing the count for that given piece and updating that in the hash map. So once we've done all of that, what do we need to do? We actually need to add all of that to the resulting string. So for how do we iterate through the map? So it's map dot entry set, I think. Okay, let's do kv map. No, entry would be equal to map dot entry set, I think. Yes. Okay. Awesome. And then what we need to do is res dot add. First, we need to add. What do we need to add first? Okay, the number itself, the count. So it would be entry dot value, and then we need to add a space, and then we get entry dot key. Okay, so this will add the string in the format that we care about. So once, like, if you look at the example on the left, we have the number, and then there's a space which we've added right here, and then we need to add the domain and subdomains. Awesome. Okay, so okay, this you actually need to add the type. So in this case, we have string and integer. So I think that would fix. Awesome. All right. So once that is done, we know that we have the results in the res array list, and we should be able to return it. Awesome. So let's try compiling this and see if it's okay. Yes, okay. So the first two test cases are okay. Let's try submitting it. All right. So the solution got accepted. That's awesome. All right. So let's talk about the space and time complexity of the entire solution. So the time complexity of the entire solution is of n, since we have to take every single string that's given to us in the array and manipulate that and then add that to the hash map. And this is also of n. So this time complexity of this entire solution is of n. We can actually optimize the solution even more by using use index of like a space instead of splitting, because splitting is more compute heavy than looking at the first occurrence of a string, and you can use that index first occurrence of a space. So you can use that to actually like split the string. That would be more time efficient in case you care a lot about optimization. So that is about time complexity. In terms of space complexity, it is of n, since we are using a hash map, and the hash map is obviously tracking how many times we've seen a given subdomain. Awesome. If you have any questions about this problem, please let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video. I would really appreciate that. Definitely keeps me motivated to make more videos. Thanks so much, and I'll see you folks in the next video. Peace.